Y'all, this is gonna be a different type of video to say the least. I was away, so Jess, my wife, held the store down while I was gone and shipped all this stuff. So I'm gonna give you some comps here and I'll put them on the screen. And then we're gonna be joined by some guests that were at the Nashville meetup with Ray Nashville Flipper. That was awesome. So you'll see a few folks you may recognize in this video, and we're gonna do some Q&A. But this first sale, Mufasa popcorn bucket, tin and dome lid. This one, I remember when I bought it, and it's a trick from Dave, you know, was gonna pay for my ticket and my popcorn and my soda and all that stuff at the theater if it sold at full price, and it did with a little bit of a profit, $44.95 plus shipping. All right, y'all, we're mixing in Q&As today inside of this What Sold video, and check out who I got right here. I got the Beard King himself. Lots of bearded folks around here, but he's the king of the beards. And we've got a question about books. What are the best marketplaces to sell books in? And this is the right guy to ask because he sells books.
Yep. Say for your average novel, Amazon's going to be your best bet if you want to move it quick. Antiquarian, collectible, signed, first editions, we're going to want to go over to eBay.
Okay.
The collectors of books want to see the condition of the book, so eBay is the best platform for that. If you want to move a whole bunch of products really quick in books, Amazon's your best bet too.
Let me ask you this, a follow-up question. Do you ever even cross-list to Mercari or Poshmark for books ever?
Actually, it's funny you asked that. I just started doing Mercari and Poshmark, all books, and I'm thinking about dabbling into Etsy because I know a lot of booksellers for antiquarian books are doing well on Etsy.
Okay, cool.
So it's a good market.
Very good to know. Thank you. And let's shout out something. What do you want to shout out?
Beard King Picker on YouTube, Instagram, and also you can catch me at the Reseller Locker Room Podcast.
Oh, is that the one where I got to watch those guests from Reseller leftovers on it? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother. So a little Harley denim vest, sleeveless here. This one didn't go for a ton of money, but it's because it was a size women's small. Sold for $24.47 plus shipping. All right, y'all, I'm headed in to the Nashville meetup. Ray, the Nashville Flippers, invited me down, and there's a ton of folks here. And so I decided to do a Q&A video here. And I'm gonna ask a bunch of these folks in here these questions, but this one's directed at me. Dale Matthews, he says, why do you go to a sale and buy an item for $1 to make a profit of 10, let's say a hat? Then you will reject an item that cost 40 and it would have made you a $20 profit, let's say a stereo. So that's a good question. It's a legitimate question, but it's actually a pretty easy answer for me. You can buy 100 hats for $1, and if you're making a $10 profit on those things, you're making $1,000. And the success rate is going to be much, much higher. Maybe a slow sell-through rate, but the success rate is much, much higher. If you're going to spend $40 on a stereo to make $20, you'll actually make very little money over time if that is your practice. Just simply because you have difficulty in shipping. Sometimes something happens, something breaks, something doesn't work just like the person thought that they were going to get it, and then you'll get a return, and then you're out all of the shipping money and the original $40. It's risk versus reward. Now, I just bought a printer the other day for $100, and it will sell for a minimum of $250 for parts or repair. So that is well worth it to me because you can sell it even if it's broken. I'm gonna add one thing to that. That doesn't mean that it's the best practice to go out and buy $1 hats if they're very slow sellers. Everybody has a different model, and I get it. And the higher dollar ASP the item goes, the more I'm willing to pay for an item, for sure. So I think it is a valid question. In other words, I'm not going to buy a $1 item to flip it into $5, but I would buy a $100 item to flip it into $500. Haven't found a TI-84 in quite a while. This one I grabbed for just $2 at a sale, and it sold for $32.95 plus shipping. Next one's been listed for a while. I'm walking over. Turner's going to be up in a minute, so I want to get a closer look at him. These denim, Liberty Denim Carpenter bibs, these little overalls, they were $44.30s. They only sold for $17.46. I feel like I used to get a lot more, but these went on clearance and sold for that plus shipping. I paid $5, so not a ton of profit in that one. All right, I got another guest with a question here. So hey guys, there you go. Hey, give him a shout out what you got going on. You got two things going on.
So I'm Joe. My channel is I'd Flip That, and we created something completely different and we do a game show for resellers.
Game show. You guys got to check it out.
We have 19 episodes, and we're doing one live right now.
At the
We're about
Nashville Meetup.
At the Nashville Meetup.
That's right. Don't call me up there. I don't want to go up there. All right, what else you want to shout out?
Baby, come on. And we have a podcast called This Week in Reselling on the Nashville Flippers
And
channel.
they are hosting this event right
Yes,
here.
they are.
So I got a question a viewer sent in. I think the name was Michelle. And she said, when is the right time to get an eBay store?
I think when you start questioning it, that's probably when you want to do it. I mean, you definitely want to be selling stuff and listing stuff, being active enough, but you don't want one if you're just like, oh, I'm going to list a few things here and there once in a while.
Yep.
When
What's
you're
your
really
long-term
going,
strategy? It actually helps make you commit, in my opinion. It's like if you're paying that money, it's like it's time to take it serious.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to get run over.
Yes,
Thanks.
we are.
This next one I picked up at a sale just about 10 days ago, and it sold pretty quick after we got it up and listed. It's an Under Armour Wounded Warrior Project zip-up jacket, lightweight jacket, sold for $24.95 plus shipping. Hey y'all, I found another bearded guy. This is Bearded Finds. This is Steven, and he does video games, so I thought Brian's question would be perfect for him. And I get this question all the time, y'all. I'm sure you do too. Do you test every video game?
It depends. If it's like the old, like where you got blow in it and stuff like that, I'm just like, let them take a chance with it. Disc ones, sometimes. It depends on the console. Because I'm not rich like Kevin. I don't have every console, but I will say...
I don't test them all either.
You don't test them all either?
I won't test it unless it's like a $50 game and I have the system to test it with. I would say I test less than 5% of the games that I get.
That's about right. I mean, because if it's not worth it, I'm not going to sit
What's
there
your
and take
return?
time.
Do you ever get a return this game's not working?
Like 1 out of 200.
There you go. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man.
All right, I'm going to show you a few more things that sold here and answer a few more questions. This is one of those things you find in the bottom of a toy bin for a quarter or something. And it's like, yeah, even though it has no clothes. Strawberry Shortcake, 1979 doll. Had it for quite a while. Sold it on discount for $6.26 plus shipping, but it was one of those that had a haircut, if you know what I mean. So it wasn't going to go for a bunch of money, but hey, still made a few bucks on it, and it was fun. Got a question from Angela. And this is a Facebook question, y'all. They said, I have a huge collection of Disney VHS. Should I sell them independently or should I sell them in a lot? What kind of price should I ask, or are they worth anything at all? And the answer is not really. There are some exceptions, and I get in trouble every time I say this because people think there are no exceptions. There are exceptions with Disney VHS. And it's usually, it doesn't even have to be sealed. But even a black diamond, I have sold an Alice in Wonderland black diamond in a box, not in a clamshell. It was a pretty hard one to find. I sold it for $100. I don't know what it's worth right now. And that was sealed. I've also sold the Dumbo and that's in a clamshell with the pink spine. And that has done well. All these sealed are obviously better, but your run-of-the-mill stuff, your classics and your black diamonds, it's just not worth much. If you ever find the Cars VHS, however, pick it up. Actually, let me add one thing to that. It's also very hard to sell them in lots as well, because the shipping cost alone is worth more than the actual VHS. So it's pretty difficult. Maybe if you had like an entire collection, like 50 or all of the popular ones or something, you might get a few bucks out of it. But it's pretty tough. All right, y'all, I'm gonna make Carrie American Arbitrage's day with this next question because of who's answering it. I'll put them on camera with the question. I got a question from Danielle. She said, if you could go back 40 years and pick all kinds of stuff that's worth a bunch of money today, what would you pick? So we got Ben here, Rocky Top Picker, Bizarro Kevin, or what is he called? Cool Kevin. That's what I forgot. That's what he said. So if you could, so I figured I had to ask the oldest guy in the building this question. So what would you go back and pick? If you could just pick all that and then save it till now to sell it, what would you pick?
Well, I originally told you Star Wars toys, but now I'm saying wrestling figures.
Oh yeah, get those old LJNs, and the
LJNs.
wrestling rings for LJN would be good.
Yep.
And I think my addendum to that would be find all kinds of sealed stuff.
Yes.
Anything sealed. Video game seals, any of those wrestler sealed, any of that Star Wars stuff sealed is worth grading and a ton of money today. Hey Ben, shout out your podcast and your channel.
Reseller, Locker Room Podcast, and the Rocky Top Picker channel. Come and join me.
And they need more women to watch because nobody watches these guys. Go check them out.
We're too offensive.
Thought I'd show you Turner out here. Is that Turner? Sure looks like him. He doesn't normally play center, but he's out here shagging for BP. All right, this next one right here is a pipe. And I bought this pipe at a sale, ironically, 2 streets down from right where I'm at right now, about 3 weeks ago, maybe. And this sale was ridiculously cheap. She's like, I just want it gone. I want to take nothing home. And I'm like, awesome. So you start asking prices. And this one was, I think there's 4 or 5 pipes and then a little pipe holder thing. And I think I paid $10 for all of it. And there's a couple good pipes in there, plus the actual little circular carrying thing. This one, Vintage Weber, the Scoop Imported Briarwood Tobacco Estate Pipe, sold quickly for $59 plus shipping. And I had a pretty straightforward question from Roger. He said, I think this was I don't know where this one came from. He says, what is the future of reselling? Is it going to be static eBay, or is it going to be live? And he didn't say eBay. I threw that in because eBay has live selling too at this point. It's just not quite ready for prime time, but I suspect it will be soon. And people will get to choose different live selling sites. So it's not an either or, in my opinion. It is a both. And it is an either or decision for people. There will always be static selling. I've said this so many times I get tired of saying it, but it's not gonna, there's nothing that a live selling site like ours or, you know, Dibdit or whatnot, or any of these live selling sites that are gonna ever take away completely static sales, because there are just people that they're not gonna sit there all day waiting for what they want. But there is also a segment of society that is, they want to be entertained while they buy. They want to be part of a community while they buy. So I would say neither one is ever going to go away. Well, I don't know about ever, but not likely to go away. All right, I tracked down my favorite YouTube celebrity here. I think most YouTube celebrities love this guy right here. This is Mike Camparelli. If you've never met him, you are missing out. I've got a question from Eileen, and her question is, what size box do you use more than any other size box? What do you got?
Let me see. I would say 18 by 18 by 18.
What are you shipping?
Well, they say size doesn't matter, but I think if I'm shipping out something 18 by 18 by 18, it's a pretty good sale, and I don't mind. I don't mind shipping it, you know. But
mine, Eileen, is 8 by 6 by 4, and I always run out of them, and my wife always yells at me. Hey, Mike, shout out he's got a new YouTube channel, fairly new. How long has it been around?
I started in December.
All right, and we're at a reseller meetup. We're in the Nashville event right here, and that's what his channel's about. Shout it out.
It's called Mike Medco Meetups, and actually I got a sticker right there.
There you go.
Right there, that's my channel.
He is the sponsor of this event, y'all.
Yeah, one of them, Kevin also.
I know
Yeah.
a lot of my
Mike.
neighbors. Let us know.
And I just, the intent of the channel quickly is just to cover all the meetups. I love going to the meetups. Hey Scott, I love coming to all the meetups, and all my friends try to encourage me to start a channel, and one friend suggested that I do a channel on meetups, and it was a great idea, so here I am.
It is awesome. If you want to know anything about any meetups that are going on, go check out his channel and he'll let you know. Absolutely the nicest guy in all of reselling.
Thanks, Kevin. Nice of you to say.
Yeah. This next one's kind of cool. This is a Texas Instruments Vintage 99 4A computer console. And this one sold, took a little while, but it sold for $59 plus shipping. So don't ignore that vintage computing stuff. Some of it can be really, really good, and some of it can be okay. Have a question from Genie. She says, calculate, this is the same stuff we've answered for years, but I'll keep answering it for the new folks. Calculated shipping or free shipping. And I use, and she didn't ask about the other one, I use flat rate shipping. So I don't use calculated. However, I've changed in the past, and if circumstances change again and it's better for me to use calculated or even better for me to use free, I'll do that. Currently, I use flat rate shipping. I charge pretty low flat rate prices. If I were to ever go back to calculated shipping, I would pass a portion of the calculated savings back on to the buyer to stay competitive and be able to ship it farther, still not lose money on it. So I just am not dogmatic about that question at all. I think all can work. All right, track down the most OG YouTube reseller here that I could find. This is the Bearded Picker, y'all. Legend, YouTube legend right here.
I'm old, that's what he said.
That's right, he's old. That means he's old. He also has 3 swag bags, and I went in there, I paid for these swag bags, and he's got 3, and they wouldn't even give me one. It's terrible. Listen, this guy right here, he's awesome. He's on, well, you shout out your podcast.
The Profit Playbook Podcast. We had you as a guest last week.
Yeah, and they hated me on there.
Did they really?
Yeah, why do they leave such mean comments?
I don't read the comments. So.
Anyway, he also has a channel, Bearded Picker. Go check him out. And here's the question that no, it wasn't Eileen. I can't remember who asked this question. What is your favorite thing to sell on eBay?
I'm an electronics guy. I'll sell anything, but I really like selling cameras.
Cameras. Do you test them fully?
I do test them fully. So I film one. I get one. They make a little tool that'll pull the film back out. You can search for it on the internet. They're like $8, and you can use the same film over and over. So you can film test it and then battery test it, because I'm not leaving money on the table.
What's your return rate on cameras?
Very rare.
Because you test them all.
I can't remember the last one that returned.
It seems like every time I do it, it's like, oh, there's a little bit of mold in the lens or something. It's pretty low, yeah.
Okay, so I sell those as is. I don't understand that stuff. I mean, I can tell if I see it, but I'm not very good at that part. So if I sell a lens, I will tell them the same thing. Hey, I'm no expert on this. Here the lens is. Here's what it is. I can't see mold, but that doesn't.
Okay. Well, he's unfortunately not a full-time dibditor yet. So shout out your Whatnot. When do you go on Whatnots?
Wednesday after the morning show and Friday night after the live show.
All right, Scott, thanks.
Bye.
This next one's a cool sale. Little MCM trash can. Weebro embossed lily pad floral trash can. Sold for $26.95 plus shipping. It's a pretty small one. Easy to ship. Although I didn't ship this one because I was out of town. And so I have a question from Elizabeth R. And she asked me if I thought either one of my kids would ever get into picking and reselling, and do I want them to? I'll tell you what, I would love them to, I think, is the first answer. That would be awesome. But I don't know that they ever will, and I'm not going to push them into it, that's for sure. I just hope, sometimes kids as they age, obviously, they move away from their parents a little bit, and they kind of, like Turner, I just asked him a question out there and he just waved me off, like, not during practice. And so you got to expect that kind of stuff. That's the way I was. And then as I got older, I got closer to my parents after that intermediate stage. So who knows what'll happen. I can tell you what, though, I'm just gonna encourage them to kind of follow their dreams, and if their dreams is doing what I do, awesome. If it's not, that's perfectly fine too.
Well, I had to pick up Jeff from the airport.
All right, I don't know who this dude is, but this is who I want to see right
this
here.
Guy.
Look at that. That is awesome.
She's the star of my show.
Yes, she is. Beautiful. This one's kind of cool. I paid $3 for it, and I didn't know anything about it, but I figured I would learn. I know the name Dansk. This is a Dansk design small amber glass inkwell, and it sold for $12 plus shipping. So now when I see that again next time, I'll pick it up. I probably wouldn't pay more than $3 for it, but I'd pick it up. So that was a cool sale. And Phyllis asked me an interesting question, and I saw this one. I'm like, I want to answer this. And the question was, 10 years from now, who do you see the biggest platforms in reselling being? That is an interesting question. So I am going to speculate and say eBay. Well, this is excluding Amazon, which maybe I shouldn't. And in that case, I should probably put in Walmart. Walmart is making big moves. Anyway, I would say eBay, and I guess I would probably include Walmart in that. And, probably Whatnot, honestly. I think that it's still an untapped marketplace, and I'm hoping selfishly for some of my marketplaces to be there too. And that may be pie in the sky, but mine are certainly growing, and it's been really, really fun over there. Thanks for the question. All right, I'm getting tired of walking around here, so I'm gonna lean against this pole for the next, well, let's do two real quick. Stole one of the Sting NWO skull caps for $6.66, and this next one is awesome. And I'm kind of upset I didn't get to ship it, because I love it, and we tested it out and it's working. Sanyo MG15A Walkman. It's a portable cassette. Walkman, of course, is Sony branded stuff, but it had the box. It had that sweet 80s look to it, had the paperwork and everything. And so I listed it high, and I had a feeling it would sell pretty quick, and it did. $59 plus shipping. I paid $5 at a yard sale for it. Actually, it was an estate sale that I paid $5 at. So that one was super cool. Question from Chris. And Chris says, what items do you run from at yard sales? I thought that was an interesting way to put it. So I guess there's a lot of them, of course. But the one I just look at, and almost no matter what, it just screams, I'm not going to buy it. I don't even want to look it up. And if it happens to be worth money, I still don't want it. Would probably be collector plates. That's got to be top on my list. Two really small sales here. Looney Tunes keychain, $7.66. That's Marvin the Martian. And Tiger Woods PGA Nintendo GameCube game, $9.07 plus shipping. That one was on discount. And I have a question. I didn't write the name down on this one, so you have to forgive me. They said, I'm new to reselling. Is it better to price your items high and wait for the big dollar? Or is it better to price them low or to send offers and get the sale? That is, it's so in the eye of the beholder. I think the two biggest factors in that is how bad do you need the capital, either to live or to reinvest in more merchandise, and how much space do you have. If you're working with limited space and you need capital, you better put it at or below the market. If you do really good job with pictures and titling and description and everything looks awesome, sometimes you can get a little bit more money for it. People just trust those listings. One of the worst things you can do, though, sometimes is to be absolutely rock bottom on it. I have found that going too low also prevents a sale, unless it's something that's, you know, sometimes people just psychologically, they think, why is this so low? And they want, you know, too good to be true kind of thing. And I've seen that before. You just keep dropping and dropping and dropping. Or maybe it's just the eBay algorithm hiding it because it's been there for so long and nobody's bought it and the price keeps dropping. But I mean, it really just depends on who you are and what your model is. Sold a Donkey Kong Country Nintendo Game Boy Advance with the little blue case in it. This one sold pretty quick, $26.95 plus shipping. Thrifty One asked a question. They said, how do you decide what to sell live and what to sell on eBay? And there's been different answers in the past, but because I was doing things differently, my goal is to not have to choose. Now, having said that, meaning I want to increase the volume of both, so it doesn't really matter. We're just going to bring it all and just split it up. Who cares? One load, if I've got a ton listed on eBay, you know, then this load's going over here, this load's going over here. I will say there are some things you're just not going to sell well live. Most things, 90% of the things are going to go for well under eBay value. And so sometimes it's something that is lower dollar value, but you have a ton of quantity of it. And like, for instance, die-cast cars that might sell for $6, $8 on eBay. It's like, I don't think I really want to deal with it. I'd rather just sell them off over here for a few bucks and get them gone. So there is a little bit of that. But right now I'm trying to bring more volume to both. And we've really upped our game and quality of what we're selling live over on Dibdit into different marketplaces. Tickwitty I've been buying for lately, and Polish and Brush and all those different things. So the answer is going to be different for different people, but you asked it for me. And so that's my answer for now. I'm trying to increase everything. There are items that, you know, if I'm doing a when in doubt, parted out item or something and I'm selling vacuum cleaner parts, I'm not selling that live. So that's obviously going on eBay. So that's my answer. Hopefully it helps you out a little bit. I mean, speaking of video games, you know, what we did, I bought a massive buyout of video games the other day. And what I did was I didn't split them up and say these are going on eBay because they're above $20 and these aren't because they're below. What I did was I took all the games that sell between $5 and $10 and I put them all in the live sale. And then I took the best games and I divvied them up. I said half are going to eBay, but half are going to go into that live sale. Because if you can attract people because you're bringing good stuff, it helps the stuff go a little bit better. All right, I still have about 30 minutes left of Turner's practice today, and I just got back not too long ago. I still haven't emptied out my truck from the Nashville event. I've got stuff in the back, so I'm going to literally divide that up into live and eBay right here in the back of my truck so that when I get home I can put it in the right places and get it gone quickly. So anyway, thank y'all for joining us for this different style of video. Big thank you to Ray, Nashville Flippers, for having a great event down there and all the great folks that we got to meet. So we appreciate him and all those folks out there, and I can't wait to see you next. time.
Title sponsor, American Bubble Boy. We do want to give a shout out to my reseller.
I'm getting my shout out right here.
Meco Meetups. The boys over at the Reseller Locker Room Podcast. I flipped that. Comes Net Dip Dip, the Rule Squirrel, SSK Promo, Frizzy Finds, and ABC Map. Let's give it out.
I'm getting a refund.